à côté de le faux vieux là ici.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الحمد لله. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على محمد الأمين، إمام المرسلين، خاتم النبيين، وسيد ولد آدم أجمعين، وعلى أهله وصحبه أجمعين، والتابعين إلى يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. وقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه أو كما قال رسول الله. ونسأل الله أن يجعلنا من الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. We thank and we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of mankind, the creator of everything we know and everything we know not, master of all masters, king of all kings, the one who has the final say on the day of judgment. And we pray for peace and salutations upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and upon his family, his companions, and those who will follow him upon the path of righteousness unto the day of Deen. Amen. Without further ado, today I want us to talk about something important. Inshallah, today we shall discuss a plague, a disease that we have. A disease that took the lives of many innocent people around the world, and especially in this country. A disease that we call out other people for, but we forget that we also have it within ourselves. And this is the disease of discrimination. I'm pretty sure we are all aware of what happened, what transpired in the past month or more, especially relating to the death, the murder of George Floyd. And I understand, mashallah, we have been speaking out. We have seen several prominent leaders speak on the issue in our community. Alhamdulillah, at this point, I have faith that at least 90% of the Muslims are aware of the ayah where Allah is commanding Muslims to stand firm upon justice. And I am pretty sure that most of the Muslims are aware of the hadith where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the black is not better than the Arab, and the Arab is not better than the black, or the Arab is not better than the non-Arab, however you want to phrase the hadith. So after we've mentioned the ayahs, we've mentioned the hadiths, we've condemned the actions of irresponsible officers or people who have been entrusted with power, law enforcement, misusing their power based on bias. We've called them out. Then one might say, okay, then why are we still on this issue? Why we gotta keep on ringing this bell? Because there is another side of this issue we are not paying attention to. There is another side of this issue that, wallahi, if we do not address, there will be no future for the Muslims in this country. There will be no future for the Muslim youth that we are trying so hard to develop. And that is the issue of racism within the Muslim community itself. Our brothers and sisters, there is some concepts that we need to understand. Because of course we have to bring it back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet first before we can move anywhere else. We are all aware of the first sin, We are all aware of what Iblis did for him to be casted out of Jannah. Him refusing to make sujood to Adam, that was discrimination. That was arrogance. And that was also racism. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من كبر. أو كما قال رسول الله. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, none of you shall enter Jannah. Please, let's pay attention to this, because this is scary. None of you will enter Jannah if you have an atom's weight. An atom, A-T-O-M. This is the smallest possible particle you can have when you go back to physics. If I take a sheet of paper and I cut it in half, and I take that piece, one half, and I cut that piece in half, and I take that piece and I keep cutting it in half, you will keep cutting it into a half until you have a small particle that is so small you cannot cut it in half anymore. That's how small it is. The Prophet Muhammad says, if you have even that amount of arrogance in your heart, you will not enter Jannah. Well, I have some news for you. Racism falls under arrogance. Tribalism falls under arrogance. Discriminating people based on language, tribe, nationality, race, all of this falls under arrogance. My brothers and sisters, you sitting here right now, if you know you have any type of bias towards anybody else, wallahi, make tawbah and try to clear your heart and mind before it is too late. Because tomorrow is not promised. You have spent all of these years praying, fasting, you made hajj, you made umrah, you gave zakat, you tried your best to raise your children to become pious Muslims. You did all of this. And then you will go to the doors of Jannah and the angels will tell you, hold on, where do you think you are going? Let's look inside your heart. You did not allow your children to marry based on tribe or language. You refused to say salamu alaikum to somebody because they are not the same skin color as you. Where do you think you are going? You will not enter Jannah. And we have to be honest with each other. This is a problem in our community. This is a huge problem in our community. And what's even sad is that the Muslim youth, we are sitting here and we are watching. Either two things will happen from this. One, we will learn it from you and continue to carry this prejudice, this discrimination, and continue to carry this disease that is preventing development within our own communities, which means there will be no progress from generation to generation. Either that will happen, or option B, you see, my generation, we grew up in a very unique environment. When I was in high school, my best friends were of all races, because when we came together, we bonded based on interest, not on nationality. Some of my closest friends was either Spanish, was probably Fulani, Jamaican. It didn't matter. We all laughed together. We all love soccer. We all love basketball. After school, we go hang out. We're not worried about race. So if I come home and I see my parents telling me to stay away from so-and-so, telling me they will not allow me to marry somebody so-and-so, based on nationality, based on language, you have lost my respect. And even though Islam is the proper way of life, when you try to teach me Islam, I will not take it serious. Because in the name of you being a Muslim, you have shown me that Islam is flawed. How? Because you are telling me that I should disrespect somebody because of their race, because of their language, because of their tribe, when I have been with them and I know the things that you are saying is not true. Either you are lying or Islam is lying. But for us, we did not go to Jamia. We have not gone to Saudi Arabia and studied for 4 years. So we do not know what is Islam. When we want to process what is Islam, we look at our parents. So when I come home, okay, I am a Muslim. I am supposed to practice Islam. What is this Islam? Let me look at my parents, and when I look at them, they are discriminating people based on nationality and culture and language. This is Islam? Nah, this is not for me. I can't do that. In rebuking their parents, in the same line they are rebuking Islam. And we start to wonder, why the Muslim youth, why they're in the streets? Why, my brothers and sisters, go and spend time with these youth in the streets. Go and see how the sons of different people with different last names are coming together. These gangs that we keep disrespecting, they have bonded and they do not care about each other's race or nationality. They are unified more than some of the people in the masjid. The same people, you look at them with their pants hanging low, even though, astaghfirullah, what he's doing is bad. But when he sees his brother, he's not saying, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to protect you. When people come around with guns, I'm not going to stand up for you because you're from this race. No, you're my brother. That is the agreement they have within their own gangs and their own little cliques. So if we see ourselves as high and mighty as Muslims, oh, Islam is the right way, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu you belong to us, we're so proud to talk about how we're Muslims, while we are not adapting this mentality that belongs to us in the first place. What do you think brought people to Islam during the time of the Prophet Muhammad? It was not ayats. They could care less. When somebody would approach the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the way he would look at you into your eyes and direct you, you could feel that he was having a heart-to-heart communication. This was the most powerful man in the whole world. But when you sit with him, he will sit with you leg to leg, eye to eye, on the same level. Never, ever have the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam agreed to sit on a chair that would be higher than other people. He was the same as others. The most powerful man in the whole world died with no sense to his name. He died that he was even owing some people like he was supposed to pay some people back on what he had borrowed from them. What? The most powerful man, the Prophet of Allah, he was this humble? This is how Islam is supposed to be. And this is the Islam we're supposed to teach to the Muslim youth. So when I come to the masjid, and it's happened, this is not me just saying, I've experienced it in front of my own eyes. I have witnessed somebody refuse to let somebody lead a prayer because of the color of the skin. They did not hide it. They said it out loud for the whole masjid to hear. I refuse to stand here and let somebody of this skin color lead me in salah. Is this Islam? And the children in the masjid was listening. And they're going to go home and carry it with them. They're going to go back to schools. When we go back to school and people are disrespecting Islam, we find it difficult to stand up to defend Islam. Why? Because some of the things they are saying is true. Oh, Muslims, once they see you not a Muslim, they don't care about you. They disrespect you. My mouth is quiet. What can I say? It's true. When we see somebody come in the masjid with tattoos, oh, mashallah, brother, how you doing? We want to convert him to Islam. We treat him so nice. But your own Muslim brother who's been in the masjid for years, all we do is disrespect them. Is this Islam? You mean to tell me you want to develop Islam in this country with this attitude? My brothers and sisters, recently over the death of George Floyd, there have been many protests going around this country. The whole world has stood together in solidarity to support the black brothers and sisters in this country. This is a beautiful thing to see. I went to a protest in Brooklyn, and I gave a speech. And after this speech, a Jewish man came to me. He kissed me on my forehead and he told me he loved me. And then I will come back to my own Muslim community and I will hear somebody speak bad about me in another language. They didn't know that I speak that language. This is the situation that we are dealing with right now. Wallahi, if we do not deal with this, and it reaches the Muslim youth who are now going to be in charge, you see how this masjid is full? This masjid will be empty. The masjid will be empty. We might have to end up dividing a part of the masjid and rent it to somebody else so we can, help keep the place open, because it's happened. I've seen masjids that failed. They had to open half of the masjid and give it to some other people. The people are playing music, doing whatever. They can't say nothing because they need the money from them. One of the advice that Angel Jibreel gave to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was that your dignity is in your independence of other people. If you need somebody else to practice Islam, they own you. That is not freedom. If you cannot practice your deen without help of somebody else, then you cannot practice your deen comfortably. How can we achieve independence as Muslims? How many years have we been in this country? Look at all these other communities coming, establishing something and having something to give to their children to pass on. Some of us are paying rent in apartments to this day. You will die and your children will move in and they will come and pay the same rent that you was paying before. Is this progress? Where are our community centers for the kids? Where are our own schools? Where are our own hospitals? Do you know what they are doing to our sisters in the hospitals when they go to give birth? How they are taking advantage, especially the black people? And let me make this clear. What is happening to black people in this country does not exclude Africans. Just 2 days ago, an African immigrant, a grandfather, he was sick and the police didn't know. They applied force on him and took his life. The same police brutality that we keep pushing ourselves away from, oh, this is the African Americans, this is the black Americans, this is the black Americans, it's happening to us too. And if that doesn't convince you, well, I have some news for you. Your children was not born in Africa. They was born in this country. They are also black Americans. You might originate from a different country, but their hearts belongs to America. The way of thinking is an American way of thinking. So if we will not fight for other people, at least let's fight for our own. So please, nobody is safe from this. And this is not like maybe like an Arab Muslim versus the non-Arab. No, within the non-Arab community. Before it used to be, oh, subhanAllah, that the Arabs and the non-Arabs, we have some tension. MashaAllah, we need to come together. We've done that, but still. Within the Arabs themselves, they have their own divisions. Within the African community, we have our own divisions. Within the Asian community, they have their own divisions. Everybody has their own masjid, their own cliques. Why? Why are we referring to masjids based on nationality or tribe? It's not your masjid, it's Allah's masjid. Again, what message are we sending to the Muslim youth? When you call this masjid, Cote d'Ivoire masjid, Gambia masjid, Ghana masjid, Hausa masjid, Yoruba masjid, Yemeni masjid, Pakistani masjid, whatever masjid, what message are you sending to the kids? Oh, that we're supposed to only care for our own? How I go to a protest and see how many white people came out to defend the lives of black people, and these are non-Muslims. And the Muslims ourselves, the one whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with nur. We have nur. Yo, Islam? You have Islam? You do realize you have the same way of life as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Please, let this sink in. You are living the same type of life, the same way of life, the same way of thinking, the same mindset, the same instruction, the same guide as the best human being to have ever walked the surface of this earth. This is the treasure you have. And you're behaving like this? And what makes all of this even more scary, you're going to have to stand in front of Allah one day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're going to stand in front of him one day and answer to this. How are you going to answer Allah? Please, let's all put our minds. Yesterday, there was I was on Grand Concourse in the Bronx, and there was these crazy fireworks going on. It was so loud, and everybody was laughing and enjoying, and I couldn't help myself. Sometimes I'm this type of person. I have to keep on thinking about, the reality. I got scared, and I told one of my brothers, I'm scared of these fireworks. They said, why are you scared, bro? It's just, mashallah, I said, I'm scared because if we cannot bear the sounds of just fireworks above our heads, how will we be able to bear the sun when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings down the sun to the earth on the day of judgment? The sun is not just a ball of light. The sun is a big mass of energy. If you zoom in on the picture of the sun that they are taking in space, you will see that the edges of the sun has fire jumping up and about. If these simple firecrackers is scary, imagine what Allah will show us from His Izzah when the sun comes down near the earth. And you will not be protected from this until you hold fast to your deen. So wallahi, we must not waste any time. We must not waste any time. When we see injustice, wallahi, speak out. You speak out for the sake of saving other people's lives, and you speak out for the sake of giving a good response to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I need you guys to understand something. You are not in this country by accident. Allah placed you in America for a reason. We have a privilege that a lot of people around the world don't have. Look at how we are sitting here praying Jummah peacefully. I saw a video of people praying, and some soldiers threw a smoke grenade, and somebody in the middle of the prayer had to kick the smoke grenade away from the prayer. They hear bombs just several feet away from the prayer, and they have to dodge in prayer. We don't have to worry about that. We're going to pray Jummah, we're going to finish, and we're going to be smiling as we walk out the door. This is not just, something for you to enjoy and call it a day. This is a responsibility. If Allah puts you in a position of power, of wealth, of privilege, of advantage, He has placed you there for a reason. The people that surrounded the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they did not meet him by accident. Each of them had talents, had privileges that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam utilized to help build Islam for it to become what it is today. Abu Bakr Siddiq was rich. He was a businessman. And with his money, they was able to do a lot for Islam. We have heard the stories of the companions who were strong on the battlefield, how they dedicated that to Islam. You have an American passport, or you work and live in America. You have children in America. They have access to education that other people don't have. All of these things are privileges that Allah gave you for a reason. My brothers and sisters, let us make good use of this. The youth have a lot of talent. I can bring you a 13-year-old kid in our own community. I'm not talking about in some other state. In Harlem, in the Bronx, in New York City, 13, 15-year-old kids. You put them together, you give them resources, they can build websites and programs better than the Facebook that millions of people are using today. I know a brother personally. He was 17 years old when he started his own company. By the time he was 21 years old, he was employing people twice his age, Muslims. But the sad thing is that he does not have Islam in his heart. Why? Because he came from a household that was practicing Islam based on culture and not Islam based on the deen. He saw the hypocrisy in it, and he separated himself from the Islam, unfortunately. This is happening way more than you think. Wallahi, a lot of us parents who are sitting here, you go home and you see your children. You see your daughter wearing her hijab. You see your son. But you'll be surprised when they go outside the different human being they become. Because they have seen that the Islam they are being given at home, I don't see how I can use that in my life. You telling me to stay away from these people? when that's literally the race or the tribe of my best friend, I don't accept this Islam you're trying to give me. And it's destroying the Muslim youth. So my brothers and sisters, we need to make change. We need to change the way we think. Arrogance, racism, discrimination, it is a disease. And like many diseases, people don't know they have it until it's too late. The death of George Floyd has awakened the moral conscience of America. Let it wake your moral conscience too. Nobody is innocent, even me. Nobody is innocent. Each and every single one of us sitting here, you listening to me right now, you know deep down inside, there are certain people, when you meet them, you don't really like to engage with them. You don't really like to be around them. You don't really like to do business with them. You would not be happy if your daughter or your son brought home somebody from their culture or from their tribe or from their country and asked for that they want to marry them. You know that it would not make you happy. A lot of us, we have this in us. Let us be honest with ourselves. Wallahi, we need to undo this thinking. None of us are better than each other unless through piety, through fear of Allah. And you cannot measure anybody's fear of Allah because it is in the heart. So please, my brothers and sisters, my respected elders, my parents here, may Allah Ta'ala bless all of you. May Allah Ta'ala bless the hard work that the elders have put into this community, into the Muslim communities around the country. Because sometimes when I say these words, some people feel like I'm discrediting what the work that the elders have already done. No, I am aware and I am grateful. I am told 20 years ago there was less than 5 masjids in the whole of New York City. Now look at where we are today. So we have made some progress. But again, we have Islam. We have this nur. We have such power. Not politically, unfortunately, but power in the hearts. Because whilst other people are struggling, there's a brother who told me yesterday, he said, brother, it's really hard to reach you. You're so busy, I think you're more busy than Donald Trump. I said, yes, I am more busy than Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump is busy trying to get his thing in dunya. I'm busy trying to get my thing in dunya and akhirah. So we are busy. We have a lot to do. We have no time to waste. So please, let us do our best to dispel this way of thinking from our communities before it is too late. Before the Muslim youth have to pay the price for some of our own ignorance. May Allah SWT make it easy for us. May Allah SWT make things easy for all of us. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala ahlihi wa sahbihi. Alhamdulillah, today we spoke about arrogance. We spoke about how arrogance is one of the first sins committed. Is the first sin that was committed. The sin committed by Iblis, that Allah casted him from Jannah. We spoke about how the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that none of us will enter Jannah if you have an atom's weight of arrogance in your heart. Today we spoke about how racism, discrimination, nationalism, tribalism, discriminating people based on culture, on language, on skin color, is all under arrogance. And that if you have this in your heart, even if it's this much, you will not enter Jannah. We spoke about how this is a huge problem in our own communities. My brothers and sisters, I sat down and thought about this for a long time. And I have a proposition to make. If I am mistaken, please correct me. But we have absolutely no reason. There is no advantage. You cannot prove to me on an empirical level. I'm talking about on a research level, not based on what you're feeling, what you feel like. Use research and proof and evidence from the Quran and the Sunnah to show me why it is a good thing to be referring to these masjids based on tribes and languages and cultures. You cannot give me a good reason why. You can still hold on to your culture without being biased. Do you know how many, I'm not from Harlem, so I can't speak to the Harlem experience. But for those of us who live in the Bronx, do you know how many Muslims are there? Spanish Muslims, African American Muslims, walking around in the streets looking for places to pray when we have hundreds of masjids in the Bronx. In New York City, sorry. Why? Because we have made it clear that these masjids are VIP exclusive based on nationality, based on culture. And the scary thing is that the youth that are growing up identifying more with America than they do with the countries that they come back from back home. So in excluding others, you're also excluding your own children. I've said this so many times. I teach on the weekends. I cannot tell you how many times these young kids are telling me they are uncomfortable to come to the masjid because of how they see other people are being treated. Wallahi, we need to end this. And I know it is difficult. Some of us was raised this way. When I went back home in Africa, as soon as you mentioned marriage, the first thing they ask, what tribe is she from? What tribe? What's her last name? What household is she from? This is the way a lot of us was raised, unfortunately. But this is not what the Prophet Muhammad taught. And we need to dispel this from our way of thinking. Let us start coming together. Some of us live in apartment buildings with other Muslims. How many times have you reached out to your neighbors? Invite them. Invite them to your house. Some of us who are Africans, when's the last time you had an Arab in your house? Invite them. Eid is coming up. Let's invite each other to each other's houses. Let us be honest with ourselves. Look deep down in your heart. I know, I'm being honest with myself, and Allah has been my witness. This tribe or this country, if I'm going to be honest, I don't really like them. For XYZ reasons, if you're not gonna want to associate yourself with somebody, let it be based on benefit and not based on nationality or culture. Maybe they have bad behavior, this person specifically, but don't extend that to their whole race or their whole tribe. And I'm going to use this example as my last point before we pray, to show the difference in how, if we develop the Muslim youth to work together, to come together, despite race, despite culture, how it would benefit, and compare it to the unfortunate ignorance that is being practiced in our communities today. There was a huge piece of land that was supposed to be purchased. This land was large enough to make a school, a hotel, a community center, and a place where you can open several businesses, all in one plot, on one piece of land. The person who was selling this piece of land needed money. It was desperate. As several masajids came together and they was ready to pool their resources and to do all the donations and the fundraising they need to do to purchase this land. They were so close. I heard it was several months away from buying this land. So close to reaching the goal. Then somebody brought up the question, who will be leading this land? Who will be in charge of this land? The people who came up with the idea said, we have some brother in our community, he is qualified. We nominate, we suggest that this person be the one who will be leading the whole project and be the one who will be in charge of the whole land. One of the masajid spoke up. No, we cannot allow. Why does the person in charge have to be from this country? Why did this person have to be of this tribe or this culture or this language? I don't want to say the specific language before we start throwing stones at each other. Then the other masajid said, okay, but even you, your people, I'm not going to allow for your people to also be in charge. And then this masajid responded, and then this masajid responded. Before you know, the deal was broken. They cannot purchase the land anymore. And then some other guy, another Jewish man, another Jewish person, purchased the land and used it to build an apartment complex. And then the same Muslim families are moving into the apartment complex, paying rent to this man. Not saying there's anything wrong with being Jewish, but why are we not controlling the space in our own communities? This is what happened. Now let us contrast this to this story. At a certain college, you know what, I'm going to mention the name of the college. At Lehman College, when I came back from studying in Africa and I came back and I started performing poetry at places, I performed at an event at Lehman College organized by the Muslim Student Association. And this group of young people was some of the most hardworking young people that I knew. The president of the group was from Yemen. The vice president of the group was Gambian. But the relationship these two had was so strong that under their presidency of being president and vice president of the Muslim Student Association, them serving Lehman College, before they graduated from the college, more than 10 people have converted to Islam under them. Several people have attended their events, have witnessed the way the Muslims carry themselves on campus. All of this being organized by these two hardworking young brothers. And look at the fruits of this friendship, despite the difference in their skin color and nationality. This is what happens when we can come together. And this is just one Muslim student association in a college. Imagine if the whole Muslim community came together. All of us came together. All of these, the homeless people in the streets, people without opportunities, without jobs, we should be able to take care of this. This is Islam. Anywhere the Muslims went 1,400 years ago, they would change the lands, the atmosphere of wherever they went. Why? Because they did not walk by themselves, they walked with Islam. So if we want to have this type of change, if we want to develop the Muslim youth, if you want to have a good answer for Allah on the Day of Judgment, please stop discriminating people based on culture, on language, on tribe, on nationality. Do not look at the police and tell them that Black Lives Matter when you are disrespecting the same Black lives in your own community. It's hypocrisy. And Allah does not like munafiq. We all know about Surah Munafiqun. Do not be a munafiq. Do not be ignorant. Do not cost all of your hard work as a Muslim. Imagine your salah, check, your hajj, check, your fasting, check, everything, check. You have Jannah right in front of you. You can almost touch the doors of Jannah, and they block your way and say, hold on, what is that we see in your heart? Arrogance, racism, discrimination? No, you have to go to hellfire. Imagine. If you do not want this to happen to you, if you do not want to see the destruction of the Muslim youth, please dispel this way of thinking. Come together, reach out to different races, different tribes, different countries that usually you don't interact with. If you know a masjid is next to you and if they're not from your country and your country masjid is blocks away, stop walking blocks to go to that masjid when the masjid is right next to you. This is painful to hear, but wallahi, we need to start being honest with each other. The leaders in our community, stop disagreeing or separating against from each other based on nationality and tribes. Because the Muslim youth, we are watching. And we might, out of respect for the parents, out of respect for you, we're going to keep praying. We're going to keep wearing the hijab. We're going to keep reading Quran. But once we become of age and we move out and we have our own mind, we're not going to be practicing the Islam that you work so hard to give us. Why? Because outside of the Quran and the Sunnah, through your actions, we have seen that Islam is not the way. When this is not true, Islam is the only way and the right way. So let us start to act the right way. This coronavirus, this pandemic has changed the world. The way the world operates is different. Somebody pays $50,000 per semester to go to school, and now he has to do it all online. The world has changed. My brothers and sisters, let us also change. Do not let the world continue to develop and progress and move on, and we are still stuck in Jahiliyyah. Because the Prophet Muhammad would be embarrassed, would be upset if he was alive today and see what we're doing. There are so many things that the Muslim community can solve, but we just have to come together. Please, for the sake of Allah and for the sake of your Jannah, let us come together and stop discriminating before it is too late. We ask that Allah make things easy for us. We ask that Allah accepts all of our dua. We ask that all the effort we have already put into the Muslim youth, may it be fruitful. We ask that Allah SWT protect the Muslim youth. We ask that Allah SWT guide the Muslim youth. We ask that Allah grant us good health. We ask that the brothers and sisters whose lives have been taken away because of the coronavirus, may Allah have mercy on them. And those of us who are still here, may Allah protect us from the coronavirus. We ask that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to take our lives, may He be pleased with us. We ask that Allah subhanahu bring us all together. We ask that Allah remove this disease of racism, discrimination, and hatred from our hearts. We ask that Allah make us more like the Prophet and make us nothing like Iblis, like Shaitan. We ask that Allah subhanahu protect the Muslim youth. We ask that Allah subhanahu grant victory to the people of this country. We ask that Allah SWT help those who are suffering oppression in this country, those who are suffering oppression around the world, in Palestine, in Syria, in China, in India, in Australia, wherever Muslims are being oppressed, no, wherever human beings are being denied their human rights, may Allah SWT make things easy for them. And may Allah SWT allow us as Muslims to display our light, to display the nur that Allah has given us to help deal with the solution, the problems of humanity. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And right quick before we pray, coronavirus has hit everybody hard. We're all trying to get through this. But let us not forget the masajid. Let us not forget the masjid. Please. We have said so many times the benefit of donating, the benefit of sacrificing the money that you wanted to go do to please yourself and use it to donate to the masjid instead. So when they say fi sabilillah, please donate and donate generously and know that you are trying to replenish, to re-establish the strength of the thing that brought our community together. I know we all missed the masjid. When we was all stuck in quarantine, I know all of us did not feel the love, the togetherness that we used to feel, especially during Ramadan. So let us, now that we are back here again, that Allah has given us the permission to be able to come back again, let us make good use and support the masjid. When they say fi sabilillah, please donate and donate generously. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وادخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار وقنا عذاب القبر يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Still attend to us. Please make space for the brothers coming in behind. And if your cell phones are still on, please turn them off or put them on silent. Stop. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار. العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام عليكم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our prayers. Fi sabilillah. Fi sabilillah. Please donate and donate generously. May Allah increase us all. And right before we started the khutbah, inshallah, there was a sister who texted me that she brought another sister to the masjid who wanted to take a shahada. Of course, we're not going to begin her here, but we just wanted the Jama'ah to be aware and to keep the sister in your dua. Inshallah, guide her, continue to guide her, and let her be a source of a new generation of Muslims to begin from this side as well. May Allah guide all of us as well and allow us all to die with Islam and with La ilaha illallah at the tip of our tongues. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Excuse me, Assalamu alaikum. You have the video? Can I get it? You gonna post it on Facebook? On YouTube?
I'm not
You don't put on Facebook? It's on Facebook already? I have your Facebook. He's a Gambian, right?
No, from Ghana.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Gambian. You talk like Gambian.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, all kinds. No. You see that? Oh, yeah, that's a fact. Yeah. Can you spell your name again? I have it from Salam alaikum. Okay, yeah. It has everything. Salam alaikum. I didn't, bro. Everything cool? I'll see you. I want to take his number, you know. Yeah, Imam. Yeah, yeah. You have his number? Yeah. A young boy, but good. Very good. Yo, you disappeared, man. Now I'm going to send you? Yeah, I followed you. Oh, that's it, right? Excellent.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. You?
Yeah.
How's the business?
Yeah, I'm gonna do everything because I was late, you know. It's like how many hours?
Mohamed Ko bana fait models that models. Yeah.
What's his number? The one that over the one name. You want to see me? You guys see me? AlHassan, right?
You still got it.
Coming this weekend. He says from Ghana, right? That's right. 864-8290, right?
That's all.
Thank you, bro.
Non, non, il n'y a pas cette raison. Ça n'est pas les Africains. Tu me sais le mot quoi. C'est comme ça, voilà. C'est comme ça. Voilà.